Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, Chief of Heritage Operations for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. It has been brought to my attention that it was reported that several historical sites in Franklin, Tennessee, have been making disparaging remarks about Confederate soldiers fighting for slavery and the Confederate Constitution being a document that protected slavery and demanded that every Confederate state be a slave state. I'm here today to correct that fallacy. Really, that is a neo-Marxist lie. The Confederate soldiers were not fighting to promote and protect slavery. They were fighting for their independence, just like our colonial forefathers were. Also, looking at the Confederate Constitution is very interesting. Karl Marx, in a editorial I believe it was in a German newspaper during the war between the states, he was the one that first suggested that the South was fighting to, quote, perpetuate and extend slavery, end quote. So today's neo-Marxists that are saying these very same things are merely reflecting what their Lord and Master Karl Marx said back in the 1800s. So let's look at the Confederate Constitution. Did it demand every Confederate state be a slave state? The answer to that is absolutely not. What the Confederate Constitution does, it tells the central government that the central government shall have nothing to do with the institution of slavery or any other institution within the sovereign states. It could only do those things that it had been delegated authority to do. Beyond that, it had no room to operate. Interestingly enough, Oliver Ellsworth of Connecticut, during the debate over the adoption of the Constitution, he made the statement that the issue of slavery and its abolition were to be left up to the people of the sovereign states. He said the central government should have no authority in this. This is the very system that every state in the Union used up until Abraham Lincoln was elected. They used this system to get rid of slavery. The people of the states were the ones to determine it. This is exactly what the Confederate Constitution states. It is reflecting the U.S. Constitution. Now, there's more to slavery than just the ownership of slavery. How about those who were marketing in slavery in the African slave trade? The United States Constitution protected that nefarious trade for 20 years after its adoption, whereas the Confederate Constitution outlawed it explicitly with no doubt about it. No slaves would be allowed into the Confederacy unless it was from a territory or state of the United States, and the Confederate Congress had the right then to even oppose those coming into the Confederacy. That was how the Confederate Constitution dealt with the African slave trade. The very first veto that President Jefferson Davis made as president of the Confederacy was a veto on a bill that he said more or less did not uphold the spirit of that prohibition of the African slave trade. It wasn't an infringement of the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. So President Jefferson Davis vetoed that bill, and that bill was upheld, not overruled, but upheld by the Confederate Congress. There's a lot more to the history of slavery in the United States and in the Confederacy than neo-Marxists would like us to believe. Remember, Karl Marx first started this lie that the South was fighting for slavery and the Confederate Constitution demanded slaves in every state. And neo-Marxists today are following suit with their master Karl Marx. Don't be fooled by this communist lie. Come to Make Dixie Great Again and look at our website, look at our videos, read our articles. I have an article on there now about slavery and the Confederate Constitution. Learn the facts, learn the truth about this issue. I'm Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, Chief of Heritage Operations for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Thank you.